Hello and welcome to this developing news story that the Rome E-Prix has been cancelled for the 4th of April due to the coronavirus. It was almost certain that the race was going to be called off when the Italian government postponed or played sporting events behind closed doors up until the 3rd of April. Now, this was one day before the Rome E-Prix, but with shakedown occurring on the 3rd of April, plus all the press activities that go along with it, the announcement was pretty much certain that it would have to call off the event. So now we've had two races effectively called off due to the coronavirus, with Sanya, which was expected to be held on the 21st of March, and now obviously Italy, which should have been held on the 4th of April. But we're going to have to throw in two more countries into the mix, which is South Korea and Jakarta. And obviously South Korea is expected to be held on May 3rd, so that's the following race after the Paris E-Prix. Honestly, with South Korea now becoming the second most infected country behind China with coronavirus, so technically it's worse than Italy, you'd have to start thinking that race will be postponed as well. I assume Formula E are just waiting until the last minute, like they did with Rome, to make an announcement on the situation, just in case it improves. But without a vaccine containing the spread of the virus, it's going to be incredibly tough to see how we can move forward, because people are always going to be moving from country to country. So, the chance of it spreading is still going to be there, even in a month's time. So, will things change massively? I don't think by next month it will. So I think they'll be waiting for the last chance to decide if South Korea goes ahead. But honestly, at this point, you have to say that the race will not go ahead because, as I said, that they're the second most infected country. You don't expect now to cancel a race in Italy due to coronavirus, but then go to the second most infected country of the whole virus and have a race. I just think it's incredibly unlikely. And obviously Jakarta, obviously, they've got more time because that race isn't expected to be held until the 10th of June. But obviously, they've had massive floodings, and obviously now that the virus is increasing in the number of cases that are happening there. So, obviously they've still got more time to see how the situation improves, but at this moment in time, you can see that race also being postponed. And if that is the case, then obviously we'll have Paris on the 18th of April, but then if Jakarta and Seoul are both postponed, then the next race will be on the 21st of June in Berlin. So we'll have a massive gap again, but I suppose we're pretty used to massive gaps. And just to add one thing, I think, is that obviously with Rome and Sanya, I don't expect them to be on the calendar. And obviously if Korea and Jakarta are postponed, I know they're called postponed at the moment, but I can't really see them coming on the calendar anytime soon, or unless Formula E decide to extend the calendar. But it's obviously moving all that stuff back around the world to get to those places, and at the same time we don't really know how this virus is going to spread or how it's going to move forward from now till in a couple of months' time. The only thing Formula E could do now, but for them, they've got to look at the organisers of these E-Prix of New York and Berlin and turning them to double headers, because both E-Prix have been double headers before, but Formula E would need permission from the race organisers to obviously get that. That might be simple. They might both say yes, and then that would be the replacement for the Rome Sanya E-Prix. But yeah, obviously then we might be missing two E-Prix further down the line with obviously Jakarta and Seoul if they were to be postponed. So I think that's the only thing that Formula E can do at this time. So that is pretty much all for this news story about Rome. Obviously, if you want to keep following coronavirus in terms of how it's affecting Formula E, please stay tuned to the Formula E's own website for any more news stories. And if you're liking these new sort of videos just explaining the news that is actually happening around Formula E, please give this video a like and subscribe if you're liking the content. And I will see you very soon. Goodbye.